Oh, yeah. Wow.
And there
We should be good. All right.
Very, very short. We should be.
Oh,
All right,
sorry.
call to order. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which time any business affecting their interests is discussed and acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act and Board of Education Policy 0162, the Board of Education of the Borough of Bound Brook has caused notice of this meeting to be posted in the board office and at Bound Brook High School and mailed or faxed to the Courier News, Bound Brook Borough Clerk, South Bound Brook Board of Education, and any person who has requested individual notice and paid the required fee. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Bell?
Here.
Ms. Munson?
Here.
Ms. Martinez? Ms. Morris?
Here.
Ms. Rosamano?
Here.
Mr. Tomaselli?
Here.
Mr. Badalaire?
Here.
Zupko? Here. Ms. Fazio?
Here.
Eight present.
All right, I guess we have to do for the resignation, do we have to? do
Yeah, take a vote.
All right, I need to get a motion for 1.5 resignation of Ms. Stevens.
Motion.
Mr. Bal, can I get a second? Mr. Badalaire, I guess take a roll call. So if we vote no, she has to come back? No, I'm just kidding.
No, you can't.
You cannot vote no.
Oh, so it's one of those, okay, go ahead.
Mr. Bell?
I just had to ask.
Sadly, yes.
I know.
Ms. Munson?
Yeah.
Ms. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Rosamano? Mr. Tomaselli?
Yes.
Mr. Badalaire?
Yes.
Mr. Zupko? Yes. And Ms. Fazio?
Yes, and on that note, I would like to express my appreciation to Ms. Stevens for all of her hard work over, what was it, 10 years?
Yeah.
10 years on the board. She certainly was an advocate for Bound Brook, and sad to see her go. So thank her for all her hard work. I did want to thank all of the young ladies and gentlemen that are here to get their Student of the Month and Gem of the Month. So thank you as well for all the great work that you do. So without further ado, we'll have Dr. Gallagher.
Just a couple quick things before we go to Students of the Month. First off, I'd like to thank Mrs. Stevens again for her time on the board. She was always a great asset to the community of Bound Brook with her insights and everything else. So again, I'd like to personally thank her for her help on the board during my time here as superintendent. I'd like to make note that we did receive a letter from the Department of Special Education and the Department of Education. As the board knows, we were cited at the middle school for disproportionality in special education among Black men for special classifications in special education. We appealed that based upon the number of transfer students that we received. And the state came in and did an audit, and we were found to be 100% compliant. So we are no longer in that disproportionality piece in special education. So that is good news for us. Second is the county has a grant, and they are looking to buy COVID testing machines for next school year. So I did ask for a machine for us for Bound Brook High School for COVID testing for next year if they do get that grant. So I wanted to make you aware of that. And at this point in time, I'd like to bring up Dr. S. for Lamont Adams for Students of the Month.
Good evening.
I don't think that's on. There you go.
Thank you. Congratulations to Aria Davila. Congratulations to Jared Lincango Morera, April Students of the Month. Thank you.
At this time, we bring up Mrs. Clark for Lafayette School.
For first grade, Lafayette's April Student of the Month is Jarismar Castillo Alvarado. And for second grade, we have Michaela Castillo Sanchez.
And this time, we have Mr. Edwards for Savali School.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Our first winner recipient, Jane Pena de los Santos. Our next recipient is Zach Quesada Varela. Our next recipient, Jimmy Calderon. And our last recipient, Giselle Torres.
Now we have Mr. Sam Server for Community Middle School.
The Community Middle School is pleased to recognize as its Student of the Month, Madison Masalis. The Community Middle School is also proud to recognize as its Student of the Month, Jordan Salazar Sanchez.
At this time, we have Mr. Smith for Downward High School.
Good evening. Downbrook High School is pleased to announce our 4 Crusader Citizen of the Month recipients. Our first recipient, Janet Marie Marin Cabral. Our second recipient, I know he couldn't make it tonight, but Aldo Poltrineri. Recipient number 3, Jason Villalobos. And lastly, Leslie Perez. Thank you.
Now we have our GEM Award presentation. We'll start with Dr. Hernandez, Dr. S. from Lamont Adams with her GEM Award.
Congratulations to Mrs. Mendoza, April's GEM winner. Mrs. Mendoza is a licensed clinical social worker who provides support to our students, families, and staff. Being bilingual, she is a huge asset for our bilingual students and families that need support. Mrs. Mendoza is always willing to help as needed, and her expertise in counseling is evident through her work and the impact she has on our school. The students enjoy creative counseling sessions, and parents appreciate her availability and knowledge on various resources that are available to assist them. She's a team player, and we are so lucky to have her as part of our staff. Congratulations, Mrs. Mendoza, and thank you for all that you do. She's not here tonight, so make sure she gets her certificate tomorrow. Thank you.
Then we have Mrs. Clark for Lafayette School.
Lafayette's gem for the month of April is Lindsay Henningsen. She's not here tonight, but I did already give her award. Mrs. Henningsen continuously advocates for her students, working alongside Mrs. Colombe Brito to maintain open and consistent communication with our families. Having extra adults in the classroom can sometimes be challenging, but Mrs. Henningsen always remains positive and patient while helping them become a part of our school community. Mrs. Henningsen continues to display kindness with every interaction, and it truly reverberates throughout the building. Thank you, Mrs. Henningsen, for all that you do for our students and our families.
And Mr. Edwards for Smalley School.
Good evening again. Mr. Majors is one of our fourth grade teachers. He continually plans accordingly with his co-teacher and team to be most beneficial for his students. Mr. Majors has worked diligently in broadening his background in ELL learning. He works with our ESL teacher, attends PD when needed, and uses recommendations from supervisors to grow as an educator. Mr. Majors is not shy to wear a costume for Halloween, dress down for the 100th day of school, or wear crazy socks for the week of respect. Mr. Majors, like us all, dealt with personal hardships during COVID, but he did not complain, ask for special privileges. He just showed up from his long drive every day and gave his students his best. He continues to support his staff, school, and students on a daily basis. It is my pleasure to acknowledge Mr. Majors for the Gem of the Month for April.
And we have Mr. Sanderson for Community Middle School.
Hello again, everyone. The Community Middle School is honored to recognize Mrs. Alexandra Darwin as its GEM Award recipient for the month of April. Truth be told, Mrs. Darwin could win this recognition every month because she never slows down. Ms. Darwin is constantly looking for ways to help her students both in and out of the classroom. When I think of someone who's an ideal teacher, someone who inspires others, and someone who motivates me each and every day, I think of Allie Darwin. Here are some of the contributions Ms. Darwin makes to her students at CMS. Ms. Darwin organizes the annual book fair. She invites librarians from the Bound Brook Public Library to class in order to host book talks and instill a lifelong love of learning and reading. Mrs. Darwin continued this tradition virtually during the pandemic. Pre-pandemic, Mrs. Darwin conducted walking field trips to the public library and organized on-site presentations. One of the novels that is part of the 7th grade curriculum is entitled Touching Spirit Bear. For several years now, Mrs. Darwin has hosted a virtual conference with the book's author, Ben Mickelson. The 7th grade students are able to interact with the author, engage in question and answer, and learn about the author's point of view. Ben Mickelson will be visiting Mrs. Darwin's class this year on Friday, May 7th. Mrs. Darwin helps students develop their writing skills and encourages them to submit their work to various writing contests. One such contest is entitled Poetic Power. It's a poetry contest, and over the past 5 years, over a dozen students have had their work published. Another contest is entitled Young Writers, in which students submit mini-sagas. This year alone, with thousands of entries nationwide, 15 of our students were selected for publication, which will be completed in June. Ms. Darwin applied for and was awarded a grant from the Mark Schoenwetter Holocaust Education Foundation in each of the last 2 years, which is used to purchase classroom library books, and was also awarded a $1,000 grant for library books from the AKJ Education. Several years ago, along with another teacher at CMS, Mrs. Darwin established the National Junior Honor Society and is currently one of the club's co-advisors. Each year, including this one, when students are inducted into the High School National Honor Society, they credit Mrs. Darwin as being the teacher who made the most profound impact on their education. Mrs. Darwin is also the advisor of the middle school yearbook. Pre-COVID, Ms. Darwin organized the annual Rutgers Day trip, volunteered to chaperone for Washington, D.C., and taught summer school at both CMS and Middle Earth, as well as Extended Learning Academy. Each year, Mrs. Darwin serves as a mentor for student teachers and new teachers to the community middle school. And in 2019, her colleagues selected her as the CMS Teacher of the Year. Amazingly, Mrs. Darwin has managed to do all of this while completing a master's degree in reading specialization and having a baby at home. Yeah, exactly. It is not an understatement to say that Allie Darwin is a superhero teacher who makes a positive impact on the lives of students and her colleagues each and every day. Congratulations, Ms. Darwin.
Now we have Mr. Smith for Bedford High School.
Good evening again. It's with great pleasure that we name Dr. Marion Stewart as the recipient for the Boundbrook High School GEM Award. Dr. Stewart is truly an angel in numerous ways, but has demonstrated her care and compassion for all during this last year of the pandemic. In addition to making and providing masks for many, she has for the last 2 months or so been tirelessly working to secure vaccine appointments for any and all members of the district staff. Dr. Stewart has become adept at navigating the difficult and consuming task of locating and securing appointments and has graciously shared her talents with many DBHS staff. She has provided relief and peace of mind to many. For these reasons, among others, Dr. Stewart is most deserving of going the extra mile recognition. Thank you, Dr. Stewart.
The GEM Award for the Bedford School District is middle school teacher Sue Bennett. Mrs. Bennett has gone out of her way to organize part of our food bank by getting donations through the Bridgewater community and organizing those and bringing them here to Bedford. She's also gotten donations from Johnson & Johnson for our food bank, as well as a number of bakeries to donate items as well to our food bank. Our food bank has been up and running for a number of years, but obviously during the course of this pandemic, our food bank has taken on a little bit different approach as a number of families in our district has needed this service more than others and more than ever during this time of pandemic. Currently, we take care of about 150 families in the community every week. And Mrs. Bennett has been instrumental in making sure that we have enough food for all of our families every Friday when we open up the food bank. So this month's GEM Award for the school district is Mrs. Bennett. Okay, on that note, we're going to take a 5-minute break while we change for a budget presentation. I have to change computers and a few things. So if anybody needs to leave to take a little one home or anything like that, please feel free to do so now as we're changing our setup. Thank you.
We're gonna have to.
Yeah, but I think, yeah. Okay. get started here, folks?
Yes, Dan.
I'm gonna have to hold the button down. All right, we're gonna get started here, folks.
Y'all are finally able to get on.
So this is our last presentation on our school budget. So how the state determines our school funding. I seem to go over this every year. What is an adequate school budget? So it's a very complicated little formula that the state uses to come up with a thorough and efficient education or adequacy budget, and to determine the local fair share for the public of Bound Brook and the equalization aid that comes from the state. So again, the local fair share is what the public of Bound Brook will pay, and the way they calculate that is the property value plus times the property rate plus income times income rate, and they divide all that in half. And you can find this on the school board's website, is where I got this information from. So this year, the local fair share for Bound Brook is $12,813,855. The equalization aid that we're going to receive is $24,320,470. So the total aid payable to the district, I'm sorry, we're supposed to get 24 million, but the aid that we're going to get is $22,808,454. So when you look at our current budget, our total tax in this budget is $13,037,373, which is $223,518 over what the state says is the local fair share. So that represents about 1% of the current tax rate. Meanwhile, we are still owed or underfunded $3,954,453 from the state. So again, we're supposed to receive $24,320,470 from the state of New Jersey, but we received $20,366,017, and we get an extra $2 million for our building projects or our debt service. And again, you can find all of this on the New Jersey School Boards Association website. So if you look at the tax history over the last 15 years for the school board, for the community, the average tax increase to the borough of Bound Brook over the years, over the last 15 years, is 0.62% per year. So our budget, again, our strategic plan, which we're going to be on to the year 3 of our strategic plan, is our 5 goals: culturally responsive disproportionality and equity, consistency, continuity, data-driven instruction, academic achievement, student motivation, family and community engagement, social, emotional, mental health, and mindfulness. So service to our students, we want to maintain our student-teacher ratios, continue curricular transformations, reduce local taxes, increase health and safety measures, continue the social and emotional programs, continue to expand our mental wellness programs, continue in-district counseling model with clinical counselors, expand our CT options and work study programs, and adopt a new science curriculum K through 8. We want to continue to increase instructional capacity, continue the district as a high-performing district, continue to implement procedures and policies to support instruction, continue our early reading intervention program, increase our ASI support, expand our summer school program for the learning loss due to the pandemic. We want to maintain our extended school programs for grades 1 through 8, our summer school reading programs for K1 and 2, expand our self-contained special ed program to the middle school. This budget will include the following new staff members: a new work study site coordinator, a new special education teacher, a new instructional aide, and a new STEM teacher for the middle school. And I believe the special education teacher and the instructional aide are also going to the middle school. There is no staff reductions. Increases to the budget, obviously, are healthcare costs, contractual increases, workman's compensation, special education costs, new staff. We do have a couple of maintenance projects in this budget. A new roof section of Smalley over the art room, new intercom system at the high school, repointing the chimney at community school, and an automation project for Smalley School for temperature controls in the older part of the building. Last year's budget was $32,798,301. This year's budget is $36,509,965. The difference of $3,711,664. A tax decrease of $0. An increase in Fund 12 of $1,907,211. Overall budget, last year's overall budget was $37,430,188. This year's budget is $41,084,878. The difference is $3,654,690. Our ground lease, this year's payment will be $1,217,342. We have 3 years left on this lease. This lease will end in 23-24. And that again is for the 12th classroom edition of Small. Projects on the horizon for the district is Lafayette Cafeteria, and we're in the design phase of that. We have the Lafayette classroom edition that we have to still consider. We have the field turf replacement, which is definitely on the horizon, will need to be done sooner rather than later. Replacement of the field lights, restoration of high school bathrooms, high school boilers, and LED lights for some classrooms that we still have not gotten to. Obviously, again, our cost per pupil is significantly less for services compared to districts of our size throughout the state. We rank, in the top 10 in most categories, if not in the top 5. And that's pretty much where we're at. So if there's any questions regarding our budget, I'll be more than happy to answer them now. And again, this budget contains a 0 tax increase to the taxpayers of Boundbrook.
I just have a question. With that, with the underfunding, is this the closest to like being actually funded we've been for a while? Or
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
I just wanted to.
This is the closest to being fully funded we've been in the entire time I've been in Boundbrook. And I've been here for 17 years.
That's a good thing. All right. Hearing no questions, I guess at this point, we're open to the public for agenda items only. So if you have any questions about something that's on the agenda, please come forward. Just state your name and your affiliation.
Hello, Lauren Paxton, president of the BBEA. What are the rules to filling the vacant spot on the board?
You want me to answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
We have to advertise for that position, and I believe, Mike, we did send out that advertisement already, correct?
It's being processed.
Yeah, that advertisement should be going out shortly. The resumes will be sent to me, which I will give to the board on May 10th. The board will have public interviews for the open position on the board. From there, the board will make a determination who they would like to fill that position. And then hopefully on May 24th, the board will appoint somebody to that position, and that person will be sworn in.
Okay, so when you say public interviews, do you mean at the next board meeting?
On May 10th, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Patricia O'Reilly, 745 Schoolhouse Lane. So I did post stuff on the computer, but since you're here and I'm here, I could, have that back and forth. On agenda item 6.16, I asked about what does a life skills teacher teach and where can we see the curriculum?
Life skills is a teacher that's going to be for our special ed population, for the 18 to 21-year-old population that kind of needs to learn how to live, some basic skills of living once they leave school.
Okay, is it posted anywhere by chance?
The curriculum is not done yet.
Oh,
The curriculum is in process, but we also have to approve the job description before we can even post for a position or do the curriculum or anything like that, so.
okay. And then I asked about 10.4, because I noticed about the cafeteria bills, and they're gonna be used for paying other bills. I'm just wondering, is that because, like, why that is? And if, I just thought that maybe it's because the kids are eating in the cafeteria this year, so you have like a surplus of money in the cafeteria account?
No, the cafeteria account can only be used for cafeteria. And currently our cafeteria account is receiving monies through the summer food program because we are feeding kids. So there is money coming into that account through the federal summer food program. And we are paying bills to the cafeteria people for food that we are purchasing to feed the kids and for equipment if we need to replace equipment.
Okay, so this 10.4, it sounded like you're paying other bills, but you're not. It's strictly for food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's all.
Hearing no one else?
We have one other
Online? Okay.
This is from Scott Powell, 312 Park Place. 6.7, approval of non-represented staff salaries. I noticed a discrepancy in salaries for security aid positions despite the fact that those who are making less have been here longer. If it is not an issue of longevity, what is pay determined by? That is a personnel issue, which I am not at liberty to discuss at this time.
All right, we're done?
Yeah, I have no other comments.
Okay, so 5, approval of minutes. 5.1, resolve the Bound Board of Education approves the minutes for the following meetings, regular and executive meetings of March 22nd, 2021. Can I get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Ms. Morris first and Mr. Tomaselli second. Any comments or questions? Does anyone need to abstain for those meetings? Was anyone out?
I think you do, don't you?
I do. I have to go say.
The last board meeting you were there.
Roger has to abstain before.
That was the one before. I was here in April.
I won't call his name.
Okay, so Mr. Zucco? Okay. All right, can I get a roll call?
Mr. Ball,
Yes.
Ms. Nelson,
Yes.
Ms. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Zamano,
Yes.
Mr. Tomaselli,
Yes.
Mr. Valerier,
Yes.
and Ms. DeFazio.
Yes. All right, at this point, 6, personnel resolutions, district and high school. Resolve the superintendent recommends for approval the resolutions as outlined in personnel resolutions under district and high school 6.2 to 6.24. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Valerier, second.
Second.
Mr. Zupko, any questions or comments?
Question on 618, the career and industry partnership advisor.
Yes.
Is it advisor to a student? Like, how would that work in the building?
He actually, that position is not necessarily just in the building. That's the one that's going to go out to work sites. He's going to make sure that those work sites are safe, that they meet all of the entry requirements, make sure that these sites have all the necessary paperwork to ensure that our kids are safe from any type of harassment, workplace issues, things like that. He's also going to be the person who follows up and does on-site visitations to make sure the kids are there, doing what they need to be doing in the depositors. I don't have an exact number at this point in time, but I can get back to you on that.
Michelle?
Yes.
614, the approval of the National Honor Society. It says that, that this has to be, the club needs to be in operation for 3 years to get, for the person to get the stipend. Is that standard, or is that, I mean?
No, I believe it's 2 years. It has to run unfunded for 2 years, then the third year the board usually picks it up.
Is that in the contract?
That's the standard that the board has used to make sure that anything new that's coming in that's going to end up in a contract is sustainable.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, can I get a roll call?
Mr. Ball,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Vizimano, Mr. Thomaselli,
Yes.
Mr. Valerier,
Yes, with abstention of 6.5.
noted. Mr. Zucco,
Yes.
and Ms. Fazio.
Yes. Number 7, personnel resolutions, middle and elementary. Resolved, the superintendent recommends for approval the resolutions as outlined in personnel resolutions under middle and elementary schools, 7.2 to 7.11. Can I get a motion? Ms. Musson, can I get a second?
Second.
Ms. Morris, any questions or comments?
Very nice, the Eagle Scout Service Project. That'll be nice.
Okay.
Hearing no other questions or comments, may I get a roll call?
Mr. Ball,
Yes.
Ms. Musson,
Yes.
Ms. Morris,
Yes.
Ms. Vizimano,
Yes.
Mr. Thomaselli,
Yes.
Mr. Valerier,
Abstain.
Mr. Zucco,
Yes.
and Mr. Fazio.
Yes. Number 8, education resolutions, district and high school. Resolved, the Bound Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in education resolutions under district and high school, 8.2 to 8.4. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Ms. Morris, can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Ball? Any questions or comments?
Yes, that calendar change is a give back day.
Okay.
The summer school, at the beginning it says the kids are gonna be required. When are parents gonna be receiving that? Once it's approved tonight, it'll go out approximately.
I would say, for summer school, probably about mid-May.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say no later than midnight.
Have the children and the parents been notified, the ones that
Oh, okay.
they've already been notified?
So this is more of a formality. Okay, all right.
So they know that the paperwork.
All right. That's
Does that
all.
include high school students? I mean, they still have a board.
Well, high school students, it's a little different.
Yeah,
High school students, that's a little more in June, but they know that there are summer school options available. But it always, because it's credit based, it
right,
all depends on when they know that they're actually valid for the year and when they sign up.
right, that's what I just wanted to ask. Okay. All righty. Number 9, education resolutions, middle and
You
elementary.
voted.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
See, I asked a question, then I was totally thrown off. Roll call.
Mr. Ball,
Yes.
Ms. Musson,
Yes.
Ms. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Vizimano, Mr. Thomaselli,
Yes.
Mr. Valerier,
Yes.
Mr. Zucco,
Yes.
and Mr. Fazio.
Yes. Number 9, education resolutions, middle and elementary. Resolved, the Bound Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in education resolutions under middle and elementary schools, 9.2 and 9.3. Can I get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Ms. Morris and Mr. Thomaselli, any questions or comments?
Can you tell me a little bit more about
Yeah,
the
this-
grand balloons?
Yeah,
That sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for the last 3 years. This year, unfortunately, it'll be virtually. But the two gentlemen come, they play music, they put on a show about, Earth Day, health, cleaning up the environment, science, and the kids love it. So they
Awesome.
were able to do it for free and virtually, so.
Free is
Great,
even
thank you.
better.
Free is even better.
There you go. All right, thank you. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Ball,
Yes.
Ms. Musson,
Yes.
Ms. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Vizimano, Mr. Thomaselli,
Yes.
Mr. Valerier,
Abstain.
Mr. Zucco,
Yes.
and Mr. Fazio.
Yes. 10, finance resolutions. Resolved, the Bound Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in financial resolutions 10.2 to 10.14. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Valerier and Mr. Thomaselli, second. Any questions or comments?
I just have to abstain from check 37789.
Hearing no other questions or comments, can I get a roll call?
Mr. Ball?
Wait, I think we had it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just making sure, you're switching.
Yeah, we're going from one company to another
Was there a problem or?
you mean with Payflex and, yeah, for the health spending, we're on some issues.
Roll call?
Mr. Ball?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Romano? Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Valera?
Yes.
Mr. Zupko?
Yes.
And Mr. Fossil?
Yes. At this time, any other matters? Anyone?
Yes.
Okay.
You received a letter that I shared with you from a student from the high school regarding cats and gowns. I know that I heard back from a few board members. I think I pretty much have the gist of what has been sent back to me. I just want to make sure that everybody's kind of in agreement with this before I give any direction to the high school for next year. Obviously, this year, we're going to stay with our white and red caps and gowns. Our yearbook pictures were already taken with white and red caps and gowns. So we're kind of in that position of, staying with white and red caps and gowns for this year. However, the feedback I got was to consider going to a one-color gown for next year. The trend seems to be that, just having the one-color gown moving forward. So my recommendation to you guys would be to consider going just with the red gown for the next school year. But again, it's, I need your input and you're okay to do that before I give direction on that.
Could we
Maybe you
still,
should say what the letter, so people listening understand what.
Yeah,
the request was.
the board received a letter from a student representing our pride group here in the high school, about the, caps and gowns, having white for females and red for males, and it really is, not representative of students who are, identifying in different,
Ways.
orientations. So they made the request, to have only one color gown, moving forward. So that way it's more inclusive of everybody, and not something that kind of segregates people depending on male or female. So that's the gist of the letter that the board received. I asked the board to give me feedback directly so I can kind of get a consensus to make a recommendation to our high school principal for next year for guidance and direction. So that's kind of where we're at. And that's what I'm asking for.
could we just have them pick what color they want between red or white, or is that just not gonna?
I don't think, I think we need something that's unified.
Okay.
One of the big things when I was high school principal, and you know this, we're crusaders, right? If we're gonna be crusaders, let's be crusaders. Let's pick a color and be crusaders. So let's, to me, this is no different. Let's pick a color, let's all be crusaders, and let's go out as one. If we're gonna be one, let's be one. So let's pick a color and be one. Let's be crusaders. And that would be my message if I was the high school principal. We're crusaders. Once a crusader, always a crusader. We're gonna be crusaders. Let's be crusaders.
I'm okay with that.
Red sounds good to me.
Red seems to be the school color, so I would, all right.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, Mr. Smith, red next year, please. Thank you.
All right, any other matters to come before the board?
I had the thing with the security. Did we buff up security or anything like with the cyber attacks that the other two school districts? Or are we good with what we have currently?
I'm not sure you know this now, so my apologies. So most of our backbone is very much up to date. But one of the things I did when I was superintendent, when I first became superintendent, I added an appliance called an Intrusion Appliance. So we have a company that has an intrusion appliance on our system, so it's right behind our firewall.
Okay. So
So what happens is if anybody's trying to get through our firewall or break in, that intrusion piece of equipment notifies us immediately that there is a cyber attack going into our system. And that has happened to us. So we have been notified before that, we've had some issues and we've had to literally shut down our entire system to make sure they didn't get in. So we do have that intrusion technology, and that has helped us in the past. We have upgraded our firewalls and our switches to make sure that we have the most up-to-date things. Ishkan, I believe, is here. He's done a fantastic job making sure all of our updates are done on a timely manner. Everything is completely done. I hound him, especially after what happened at Burns. I was on him about that, and then when it happened at Hillsborough, I was on him again. So we're on top of it as best we can. I can't give you a guarantee that it would never happen.
Yeah, but if it's
because-
low, at least it's all because it's never, there's no 100% guarantee we're not gonna get attacked and we're gonna fail, but at least it's a low percentage.
Yeah, we're as good as anybody else can be.
Yeah, I just know there's a lot of public, like government stuff in schools that are getting attacked right now, so I just wanna make sure.
It's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, trust me, if there's one thing that probably keeps him up and me up at night, it's probably that.
Fishing for unemployment.
Well, we've already gotten a number of those. And we've had to notify individual staff members that somebody has made a claim using their information. Yeah, so we've been on top of that as well. Mrs. Snell has done a fantastic job. She's worked with the employees. We've worked right through unemployment, notifying unemployment that it is fraud and working with the staff to say, hey, listen, somebody does have your information, start monitoring your information because they're doing it with unemployment. They could be doing it with credit cards and other things as well.
It happened to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
A couple things. So the other letter, so robotics is now a varsity sport, is that correct?
Yes.
So they get a letter and everything, correct?
Yes.
Yay.
So how do we get the people to, Mr. Houston and I'm not sure the coordinators of it, how do we get them on the step as a varsity coach now? Negotiations. Okay. That's a shame. Okay. And then the other thing is, what's the agreement for the fields out there for softball and baseball? How does that work?
Are you talking about with the borough?
Yeah.
We really don't have it at the moment. We're
Okay.
basically still under the one from back when we were still on the
We had
board
an
that
athletics committee?
we were renegotiating 3 or 4 times that we still haven't come to any conclusion or consensus.
Okay.
I can tell you that we work really well together. I
Okay.
think the borough and the school works really well together to make sure we accommodate each side.
Okay.
I don't have any complaints with it. I don't think they have any complaints with it.
Okay.
We try to be as fair and as accommodating to each other as humanly possible. We try to help each other out as much as possible. I really don't have a complaint about it at the moment.
Is there any safety issues at the baseball field?
The only thing I can think of would probably be the fence that they haven't repaired. There was some winter damage, I don't know if it was kids or whoever it was, there was some center field fence
Can we
damage.
possibly maybe send our grounds supervisor and maybe the baseball coach out and walk the field together?
Absolutely.
That'd be great. It's come to my attention that there may be some safety issues on the ball field. So,
I'll send buildings and grounds, AD, myself, and the coach.
yeah, that'd be great. I appreciate that, Dan.
Okay.
Anything else?
I can work.
No, I'm not trolling for news information. All right, at this point, anyone in the,
If you're gonna be talking to.
Well, I'm gonna go down and take a look at the field and see what kind of damage it is and see if we can repair it ourselves.
Behind Smalley,
Uh-huh.
I think it's on borough property, I'm not sure where.
We own everything behind small.
The town is on it?
no.
No.
Portion of it?
No. So, trees? Okay. They may be on private property, but I'll check.
They could be. They could be.
Joe and I'll take a walk and have to.
Don't we usually have like a tree person every year come in and like?
We usually do in the summer.
Yeah.
We trim out over
They
a small.
evaluate all our trees and stuff at that point. All right. All right, at this point, we are open to the public for any discussion.
Hi, Patricia, 745 Schoolhouse Lane. So, I posted this online too about, when parents can get confirmation whether or not they're gonna have a full day of school next year, as in eating lunch at school and having a full day.
For next year?
For next year, yeah. Are parents gonna have confirmation of that?
I can tell you that's what we're preparing for. We are preparing for a full day, back to school, everybody back in, full day, eating lunches, everything else in school for next year. We are preparing for that.
Barring anything crazy happening.
Yes.
Like multiple, like in class, like, or.
No, we got all the dividers for the cafeterias. We're pretty much set up to think we can run right out of the cafeterias.
Okay.
Well, in regards to Mr. Tomaselli's question regarding the high school robotics, if that's now a varsity sport, so to speak, and you said it was negotiable, I don't know. I mean, I don't see why they can't just get moved up to I guess something that's more equal to a head coach of a varsity sport.
Lauren, you have a CBA
Mhm.
and you have a salary scale in there that.
Right, but
Robotics.
the activity changed from a this sport to a varsity sport with letters, so.
Okay, but again,
Okay, I'm just putting out
Yeah,
there,
we put that into.
I'm just putting out there that I agree with, that it should
I mean, let's.
be at least talked about.
Let's
listen,
sit down.
I
go to
think
the
we all
table.
agree with it, but it's gotta be done right. You know.
Right, we have
Yeah.
to do it through negotiations.
We'll be more than happy to sit down with you guys.
I didn't bring it up.
I'm throwing it out there, Mr. Paxton. The board will be more than happy to open up negotiations.
Okay, seeing nothing, no one else, no questions. I need a motion to move into executive. For number one, a matter rendered confidential by federal or state law. Number three, material, the disclosure of which constitutes an unwarranted invasion of individual privacy. 4, a collective bargaining agreement and/or negotiations related to it. 7, pending or anticipated litigation or contract negotiations and/or matters of attorney-client privilege. And 8, specific, prospective, or current employees, unless all who could be adversely affected request an open session. We are not going to move anything except for HIB when we come back. So can I get a motion to go into executive?
Motion.
Mr. Val, can I, and second, Mr. Tomaselli, all in favor? Okay. All right, like I said, we are only moving HIB when we come back.
Can we just do it now?
No, we have to ask questions.
I'm very disappointed, sir. You look normal.
Hey,
Yeah? Come on.
what's coming? I could dress up somehow, something else.
I just, do you do that all the time?
I'm trying to apply for a position that makes.
I'm sure the kids look forward to seeing what you look like. That's great.
It's not so hard. No, I know that, like, I've seen for the checks, but I don't. Conflict, because like, I'm not in that position. Because I'm in like
Yeah.
enterprise.
How much is like 70?
So if I get this position, but
The best was 46, so it's slightly like that. I had a
like, I
50.
don't touch the cow, so okay.
Hey, you should incorporate the NFL draft on Thursday.
I don't want to get the positions.
The Jets are gonna blow another one.
I know.
Mr. Smith, I tried to get the gowns in midnight green, but nobody went for it. I tried.
I'm going for brown. We wore brown in wrestling. I'm still doing it. We did it for like the 80s or something, like this.
Brown?
Yeah, back then.
Yes.